This is your lunar astrology forecast for the week of May 18th to May 24th. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days, and it's a really important part of how we understand how the planets affect us in astrology. Where the moon is, what sign it's in, and also what phase of life it's in is a really important part of understanding not only what's happening generally astrologically, but especially the way our moods change from day to day and how we're sort of collectively experiencing the present moment. So this week, we're moving from the last quarter moon in Aquarius to the Gemini new moon coming up this Friday. This is a waning moon week, which means that the energy is kind of receding and pulling back. We might be getting a little more tired, a little less enthusiastic about doing a lot of stuff, seeking more rest and relaxation as we move through the week. The day leading up to a new moon in particular can be very difficult because we're processing kind of the end of the last lunar cycle, in this case, the Taurus lunar cycle. And then the day after a new moon might feel a little more refreshed because hopefully we were able to let go of something in the dark moon phase leading up to the new moon so that we can start to deal with a new theme, work through something new in the new lunar cycle. We're starting this week with an Aries moon. Generally, an Aries moon is going to bring us higher energy, a little more optimism, maybe a little more fighting spirit. In a waning moon week, an Aries moon is a little bit less energetic. Right now, the Aries moon is a little bit easier to deal with than it's going to be in the not so distant future for quite a long time. Mars is going to station retrograde in Aries, and because of that, it's going to be in the sign of Aries until 2021, the beginning of 2021, but still, it's going to be a really long time to have Mars in its home sign that it rules, where it is very fiery and very feisty and maybe very angry. So right now, Mars is in Pisces, which means, and I know that this is getting into the weeds a little bit, when we experience an Aries moon, we're able to get a little dreamier and softer with the themes that brings up. So you might find that you're thinking about taking care of yourself, self-protection, making sure you're watching out for your own needs in the context of your relationships or your employment situation or whatever that might be, right? Right now is a good time to kind of feel into that and soften into it, because when we get to late June, we're going to be real fired up. So it's, I think, very helpful to take advantage of Aries moons right now to kind of check in with what kinds of themes are coming up around self-protection and what can we learn about that now before it gets a little wilder. So then we're in a Taurus waning moon. Often this is a good opportunity to kind of snuggle up, do stuff that makes you feel comforted and good and gives you pleasure, and just relax. If we're wrapping up any Taurian conflicts from this cycle, we might feel that need to resolve something very strongly in the Wednesday and Thursday time when the moon is in Taurus. Finally, on Friday, we're going to have the Gemini new moon. And this lunation, the new moon, again, is a time to wrap up what we're processing from the last cycle and plant some kind of seed of intention for the new cycle. It's amazing how powerful it can be to just write down or consider thoughtfully what you want to come out of the next month. When it comes to this Gemini new moon, I'm thinking about all of the Gemini themes we're walking into, between the North Node being in Gemini and just having shifted in there, to Venus being retrograde in Gemini, to now being in Gemini season. And this is the note I would like to give. The thing you have absolute control over is the meaning you make out of your life. You are totally sovereign. You are like a god in your capacity to decide what your life means and to decide what the events of your life mean. So as we come into this Gemini new moon, as we're letting go of the old cycle and we're thinking about what to bring into the new cycle, the main thing I'm thinking about is, how have I been making meaning out of the events in my life in ways that have hurt me, made me unhappy, gotten me fixated on something, gotten me stuck? And how can I change the lens for this upcoming month, change the way that I'm thinking about the meaning of what's happening so that I can get to a fuller expression of what I want to happen? So some examples. If I feel stuck in my career, what's a change in the framing I have that might help me move forward? Am I imagining that I don't have control in places that I do have control? Am I feeling victimized when I have power in the situation? Am I trying to do something that I don't actually want to be doing? All of those things, those are places where you can come in and you can look at the meaning you've been making out of a situation, and you can just shift it just a little. Maybe it means something different than I thought. And that capacity is essentially magic. Like, that's what it is. Your ability to change your perspective is absolutely your ability to change a condition. All right, that's it for today. Have a great week, and leave me a comment if you like this lunar section and you would like me to keep doing it. It's helpful for me to know what you guys like to see and like to hear. Okay,